back with more Angel. This is episode 1 of season 5. Hello, been a bit of a time, hasn't it? So excited to be getting back into Angel though for the 5th and final season of the live action show. Anyway, I think there's comic continuations and stuff for Angel as well. Not entirely sure, but still. Yeah, we're on to the final season of the show. I wrapped up all of that stuff with season 4. Quite an emotional but interesting ending to the last season. And these guys are kind of running Wolfram and Hart now, I would assume, which I'm very excited to see them explore with this season, and just to see what they're going to do with it, what they have in store. In terms of getting into this particular one, I'm very intrigued after nearly a year of skip the credits for episode 1 of season 5. I'm like, oh, well, I'm on season 1, can you maybe save those comments for a bit later? So I've gotten comments and messages about that easily hundreds of times by now. And obviously, as I was finishing season 4, they became even more prevalent. So I've been aware for over a year to skip the credits for this, which I just do anyway at the start of the season, so, you know, it's fine. So yeah, the fact that that's a big thing that people want me to skip makes me think we're going to be seeing someone familiar, maybe more than one person familiar, joining the cast. Because, you know, there could be 2 or 3 people in the main credits and like main cast for the season that I don't know about. So, you know, it's not just like, oh, there's going to be someone new. Maybe there's more than one person, which would be interesting. So that should keep me on my toes, keep me guessing as the episode kind of continues, I suppose. So I'm assuming it's going to be someone from Buffy coming into the show, or it's going to be an old Angel character coming back as like main cast. Not quite sure. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But you know, you guys have been very patient, waiting for me to settle in my new place. As you can see, new setup. Hello, still not finished, but work in progress. But I also wanted to get back filming, so here we are. It will do for now. So yeah, you've waited a good amount of time now for me to get settled in here. I moved in 5-ish days ago, and I got internet yesterday, so we're all good to go again. And I've been desperate to get into this season. I've heard a lot of good things about season 5, but again, that may not necessarily reflect my view. We'll have to find out in a few months when it's all said and done. Because I did seem to enjoy season 4 a lot more than most. It wasn't my favourite, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, I guess we're not going to have any Connor. I'm based on stuff in real life. I know we're not going to get a lot of Cordelia this season, so I don't know how that's going to work. But we still have a lot of characters that I love, so I'm excited to see how they kick off season 5. Again, I think it's always quite difficult to do a series like season premiere, so I don't quite know what to expect. I think Angel, for the most part, has actually been really solid with their season premieres. So let's see if season 5 also gets off to a very interesting start. It's got the groundwork there based on how they left things off last season with the Wolfram and Hart thing. I'm really excited about that. So I've been blabbering on for long enough. Let's get into Angel season 5. Wow. Oh, wow.
Who are you?
Doesn't matter. Angel!
Or maybe it does.
You have been rescued by Angel Seed.
So they work together in Bones after this. That's quite cool.
Sort of. Well, just lately.
He's not going to show up in the photos, is he? Yes.
Right?
The law firm that represents most of the evil in the world has given us its LA branch to run however we want. Probably in an
Thank you, Exposition. Need to follow with last season.
Yes. And now that I'm taking orders from El Jefe here, I'll probably be saving the world on a weekly basis. You. Do you know how to get to your office from here?
Why?
Oh, Wesley's got someone else to be jealous over now.
It's not that hard. I'll show you.
Thanks, Noxie.
I bet you will.
It's going to be a long while before any of us gets anywhere near comfortable here. Oh, sweetie, it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. It's the project.
Just wanted to, you know.
Angel's got a lockdown haircut.
You like to make an entrance.
My name is Eve. And just so we get the whole irony thing.
Eve is a very evil name in TV normally, so it's Wolfram and Hart actually. Never mind.
You could shut this place down, but then, well, then you wouldn't have it anymore.
Oh,
The place
yeah.
closes down, keeping your clients, most of them anyway, happy.
Means letting them get away with stuff.
Sweetie, They were getting away with it while you were all sitting around your hotel waiting for the phone to jangle. But you're on the ins now. You can stop the worst of it.
It's about like choosing their battles, I suppose.
Isn't anybody excited? This is a crazy time of fun.
You know we're gonna have to check the whole staff. Make sure we don't have any diehard evildoers plotting against us.
Here I was worrying about the clients. We're doing the right thing. Right?
They'll work it out.
I can see why the senior partners chose you. Have fun.
Interesting.
Can I get a cup of coffee or something?
You have reached ritual sacrifice. For goats, press 1. Or say goats. To sacrifice a loved one or pet, press the pound key.
Oh no.
Harmony.
Hey, boss.
Oh my god. This is gonna be a disaster. Damn, I don't think we see her again.
And they're evil here. They don't judge.
Is she the new person? Or one of the new people?
No burning up. How do you like your blood?
How do you
It's
like
pig's blood.
your blood in
Totally
the
off of
morning?
Human blood. That's not even a thing.
Oh.
The extra ingredient is otter.
Angel,
That's
cases.
utterly horrible.
Problematic. I thought a familiar face would be just the thing in a place like this.
But that familiar face?
Yeah, you turned evil a lot faster than I thought you would. Nonsense.
We're gonna get along great, boss. The whole
I
thing.
mean, someone's forgotten about season 3.
I mean, I know she was mad at me for trying to kill you all, but she wouldn't.
I thought she knew. Pretty sick. She's in a coma.
What happened? Is she gonna be okay?
You don't want to know what happened. Bloody hell.
Cordy was my best friend, like, my whole life.
So you betrayed her and mocked her multiple times.
How can she... So anyway, I really think you should not fire me, and Wes does too.
Honey, would you ask?
I bring a lot of money into this firm, more than most, and I don't do that, so I can be handed over to the firm.
Well, I've not heard of you before, so...
Gotta get me off.
It's strange, my life.
Off the roof.
Incentive. And we have top men on this.
And we're doing Jack.
What's Jack got to do with anything?
They're bringing a conviction. Bye-bye, California.
Oh.
I say the magic word. The only people left standing are gonna be the ones that are already dead.
Well, that's a relief.
Jesus.
Who loved a man? He was the one that she took poison for.
I'm not sure that I'm much of the running things type. I'm more the running away from things type.
Same, we have so much in common, let's get married.
Why do I have trouble believing that? This isn't the sort of man to risk his own life. So that could mean more magic.
Or it could be a virus, Ebola kind of thing.
Right. The main thing.
Can we
is
not,
any of
please?
this stuff.
Oh, and I got Spanky's address.
Spanky, freelance mystic. Showed up in Fry's files a few times.
Lauren.
Some legwork.
Behave.
I'll take care of it. Later on, you can tell me all about tradition.
Chris Redfield's going to be a problem.
So tell me, why do they call you Spanky?
Oh.
I don't spank men. It's not a judgment. Men have fine, firm asses. You've been to the website, you know how much I work on mine. But when you said Wolfram and Hart,
What's going on?
I assumed you...
Okay then, where'd you place the vessel?
Oh.
You know what I'm doing now? I'm
What are you going to do? Choke him? He doesn't need his lungs.
There's something else you should know about me.
Oh.
I have no problem spanking men.
There's absolutely an angel out of context video with that in it. Do not send me the link.
Definitely past nervous here.
What are they going to do?
So, I understand you were in the White Room. Spoke with the conduit himself.
Yes, it was horrible.
Me and the big cat.
And weird.
Remove your shirt.
We have spanking men, we have removing shirts. What is going on here?
I think you were right, boss. These guys specialized in quick-fire disease scenarios, sarin gases, viruses.
Oh, God's sake.
You
Of
all
course
know.
it was.
So, did you find out where he put it? Angel?
I found out where I put it.
Now, surprise. Do you want to spend the rest of this class in the corner?
I'd forgotten about the kid.
We finished?
What the hell?
Shut up and do it.
They're not making him a Cyberman, are they?
You got anything for me?
I'm not sure. We've isolated a few strains.
This looks like the dollhouse set.
And he stuck it inside his son.
Hits you where you live, doesn't it?
They are really trying to make Eve happen, aren't they? She's going to be a big deal.
Never even heard of Connor.
That's not a name I want passing through your lips.
And what would you like passing through my lips?
Newsflash. You're
This
not-
is a very horny episode. What's going on here?
Just curious how you're gonna play it.
I don't want to hear another word right now unless you decide to start helping out.
How do you know I'm not?
Because you're being all weird and aloof.
And when blood starts streaming out of our noses, eye sockets, and fingernails, I'll have the intense satisfaction of knowing that I'm dying with the only people in the world that actually deserve it. Now focus, people. Work the damn problem.
Oh, damn. And she said she wasn't a leader.
Show the new boss how a threat is contained. Terminate the kid.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well,
Take out the kid. How's it going?
he could try to not be a dick. It would help.
So it turns out with his new deal and all, I own a helicopter. Take him out.
Wow. Your employee review is going to be pretty shit. Damn.
Your Honor, the defense requests one more minute to confirm.
Oh.
Another defense lawyer. What a joy.
Your Honor, at this point...
Did they, like, make him super loyal?
Charles.
I have brokers who do... You submit that I could possibly have known about this connection?
I found out and I've been on the case 6 hours.
The ice is melting, counselor.
The defense admits it has learned how to swim.
You really think you can solve the problem? Come into Wolfram and Hart and make everything right? Turn night into glorious day, you pathetic little...
We haven't given him a chance.
I believe in evil. You and your friends should
Oh, good. Well done. Proud of you.
Mercy.
Oh. Well.
What happened to Mercy? You just saw the last of it.
I would also point out that he did just save the day, without ever resorting to violence. How'd you do?
I don't know if I like her.
Fighting our own employees.
This is a very strong Fred look, I just want to say.
Deal is whatever comes next.
Oh. Oh!
Spike.
Blondie Bear?
What? I'm sorry. Huh? Oh boy, that's quite the start to the season. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. It feels like there's a lot to talk about, but I'm also just like, that ending. Oh, I was kind of preparing myself for like multiple characters because I thought, as great as Harmony is, it's cool to have her in it, and I'm sure she'll be quite funny because she's responsible for, you know, one of the Buffyverse moments in Out of My Mind that made me nearly die with laughter. Easily one of the funniest moments for me in the Buffyverse is Harmony with the no smoking sign in Out of My Mind. So as great as she is, I thought, are people really going to want to keep that a secret, and is that really going to be like the big thing that people have been warning me about for over a year? I wasn't sure, so I was kind of like, there's probably something else to that. Then the ending. I assume we're getting Spike as like a main character this season. I'd have to go back and watch the opening titles to double check, but I'll just wait for the next episode and find out. But yes, that's a big thing, and that's all the kind of we really want to talk about, but let's talk about everything that came before first. But damn, that's quite the way to end that off. I mean, I'm excited because I thought I wouldn't be able to talk about Spike again, but here we are. That's quite something. Part of me is like, oh, I hope they don't, just take away from the ending he had at the end of Buffy. So I think that was like the same amulet, wasn't it? So I guess he was just like trapped in it and not necessarily dead, and Angel reversed it when they dropped it, and like, how did they even get it in the envelope without that all causing a bit of a fuss? Like, ooh, questions. I'm sure we'll get a lot more of that in the next one, but damn. Here I was just saying, oh, let's talk about the rest of the episode first, and here I am just talking about the ending. We'll get back to that. But yes, I really, really, really love the idea of them running Wolfram and Hart. I liked how, it's a great format because all the characters have just been thrown into this brand new situation and they're kind of finding their feet in their new roles and their new jobs. It makes sense, and it's helpful for us as an audience to just go through that with them, because it makes like the exposition and stuff like that just feel kind of natural, because it is, the characters are also in the unknown. So it's one of the classic lines at times when it was like, oh well, so and so happened last season and we were given this evil corporation. And like, okay, well there you go, just in case you missed season 4, there you go, you're all caught up. But the way it's structured, like everyone's still kind of finding out what their roles actually entail in this new kind of rebranded Wolfram and Hart branch, I guess, is kind of a good starting point for the season, and it's a good chance to just let the characters sit for a bit and breathe, and you just get to know them all again after what would have been, a few months of a gap in between seasons. So that was really cool, and I'm excited to see where that all goes in future. And the morally grey aspect I find very interesting. The fact that if they still want to, do some good, however much good they can do running this branch, they may still need to choose some battles to lose and to help some clients just get away with some awful stuff. Because they can't just be like, well, we're doing all good stuff from now on, because they're just going to lose the branch and it's all pointless. So I like the idea of them maybe having to get some bad people off cases and stuff like Gunn had to do in this episode, for the long run of giving them, more of a chance and a lot, longer time to actually do some good and fix things. I quite like that. I think that's a really interesting idea to see how they're going to struggle with that throughout this entire season, or if they just be like, you know what, it's not worth it, and they do something else in like 2 episodes time. I don't even know. But I love that idea, and there's been so much kind of moral ambiguity, particularly in the last couple of seasons, I would say. Like with the Wesley and Connor situation in season 3, there's a lot there to unpack. The fact that they're kind of all having to do that now is really, really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing them explore that and what that entails. And we still explored a few of the lingering things from last season as well. We've got a Connor mention, and clearly Angel's still very torn up about that, and he's like, don't mention that name, bitch. So yeah, the fact that it does seem that Connor's story is just done and we're moving on. Ironically enough, I'd kind of forgotten that everyone apart from Angel had forgotten Connor until they mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happened. So yeah, I like that they're still kind of mentioning a few of those things, and they mentioned Cordelia still in her coma. And I like that the episode did take the time for Harmony to kind of find that out, because we had seen Harmony and Cordelia were friends way back when, in the early years of Buffy, and Harmony herself was in at least one episode of Angel before. Disharmony, wasn't it? I don't know if she's been in it other than that one episode, but she's obviously played a role and she's met kind of everyone before. So it was interesting that it took that time to actually fill Harmony in, and I guess at the same time the audience, as to what Cordelia's situation is, and that felt very organically done because of Harmony's inclusion, so that was cool. If only they took that care and attention to giving scenes like that with characters last season, like giving Connor scenes with his father and other characters last season. That would have been good, wouldn't it? But never mind. So yeah, that was cool, and to see Harmony brought in as like Angel's secretary, I think Harmony works best in small doses. So I'm hoping that will continue, you know, little lines in this one. She's still obviously very selfish and soulless, etc. And her reaction to Spike at the end as well, even though she'd walked away from him for good in Buffy, straight away back in that toxic cycle, it would seem. So we'll see if that's something they explore or not. But it seems like that's what they're setting up Harmony to be, kind of like just popping in to make a few jokes every now and again. Maybe in every episode, maybe every couple of episodes, but I quite like that sense of familiarity, and bringing in, you know, kind of a secondary character, but still doing interesting different things with them that you may not have expected, which Angel does tend to do well with characters that were originally in Buffy, including Angel himself, obviously. So I liked that, and I enjoy Harmony's inclusion. She's always quite a bubbly kind of presence, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. And yeah, just the morally grey thing they had going on with Fries. It's taken a lot for me to not just say Freeze, because I know they spell like Mr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, it's like Victor Fries. That's all I could think of, to be honest, throughout the episode when they mentioned his surname, because I'm a big nerd. But just the potential like interesting characters and morally grey characters they can introduce with this concept of sometimes they just have to let the bad guys win the day to maybe fight a bigger battle overall. And alongside that, it provided Gunn with a really interesting story, this one. Because a lot of the last season I think was dealing with him feeling a bit like, well, I'm just being used as the muscle, but there's more to me than that, there's more potential there. And they're really going with that at the end of last season when he was being shown around Wolfram and Hart and they had big plans for him, and it seems they've kind of thrown loads of lawyer know-how into his head. I'm glad it seems like Gunn made the choice for that to be done to him. It wasn't just thrown on him, because I think then it might have been like, oh, you know, is that taking away a lot of the soul of that character and what he's stand for in the past? Like, couldn't they just, maybe he's just learning that of his own, you know, accord and time throughout the season. But the fact that he seemingly did choose to get this all done, because I guess he gets the sense that he does have a bigger purpose and he wants to believe that, so of course he's going to try it and hope for the best. And he hasn't been like hypnotised to be evil or anything, that we know of, you know. They might have made him a sleeper agent, but I don't think so. I like that direction. I think that's a cool idea for the character. And again, just something I wouldn't have expected when we first met Gunn in season 1, to see where he is now. I like that idea and where they can go with it. So to see him be a pretty cool, like, badass lawyer, but not evil and corrupt like a lot of the Wolfram and Hart lawyers, is a cool thing. So I think that will give Gunn more of a role in stories and episodes than just being like, oh, you're the muscle. He can still do that, obviously he's still very capable of that, but now, you know, he's got some lawyer know-how as well. That might get them out of a lot of tight spots in future. Not only do they have to like get clients out of situations at times, whether they want to or not, this might also help them as a group in the long run. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they pay this thing with Gunn off in a huge way, or if it's just a new, different direction for the character. But it's one I quite like, mainly because Gunn did choose that for himself, and it's not just something that they forced him to do. It just shows, I think, his insecurity about feeling like, oh, maybe I'm just relegated to the muscle now, maybe that's all I'm good for in this team. Now he's got something else, and I guess we'll see how it develops. And I'd like him to maybe find some other skills that he has just kind of found that interest in himself and just taken the time to read up on and learn in that sense. Because there obviously is a lot more to him, but the fact that Wolfram and Hart also chose him for this in particular, I like that they highlight that there is more to Gunn than what the show had been doing with him for like the last season or so. So that's cool. I really like everything they did with Gunn in this episode, and I look forward to seeing a bit more of it, and if this is going to change or shape his character in a different way. So that should be quite something. But I really enjoyed the idea of making him super lawyery and what that could mean. So yeah, that was cool. What else do we have going on? I mean, Lorne's just being Lorne. He's just vibing. He's having a good time. I I thought it was, again, a very clever use of his powers that you just get all the employees to sing to him, and he's like, well, they're too evil to stay, we need to get rid of them as clients. I thought that was a really clever idea. Again, just making, this is why I love the Wolfram and Hart idea so much. I think every character can just be made so much more useful, and everyone can have a part to play, even if it's not like a huge part of an episode every single time. I think there is something for them all to do now, as opposed to like, you know, a lot of season 4, for example, where I felt like Fred or Lorne were kind of just there. Now there is something for them all to do, because they each have their own division of this branch to work on. So we have Lorne doing his thing, Gunn's got this new interesting thing as well. I think we need to spend a bit more time on like exactly what Wesley's role is now, because he just seems to be there to try and help, or offer his help to everyone else and just judge everyone else's decisions. So exactly what he's going to be up to, I think, would be cool to dive into. And Fred, her kind of insistence that she's not really the leadery type, and then when it came down to, you know, shit getting real, she was like, listen people, we need to sort this out. Love that side to her. Shockingly enough, it reminds me a lot of Willow when she got super angry and like she'd snap at like Angel and Giles in one episode and be like, we need to focus on this, you need to stop yappering and shouting and arguing all the time. Just those moments, it felt very much like that, and that in the strength that, you know, she has, and her assertiveness. She's still, you know, she's enjoying the new kind of opportunities she has and the new equipment and stuff around her, but she's also still being very smart and apprehensive about it. She still doesn't fully trust that Knox guy, and quite frankly, neither do I. He seems a bit too, I don't know, shiny and sweet, I guess. I think there's going to be a bit more grit to him that we haven't learned about yet. Maybe it's just because of previous characters that he's played in Buffyverse is just making me a bit biased against him, but I don't know, we'll see. I also feel like maybe sending up like a romance there is just something else for Wesley to feel sad about because he's not with Fred. But we'll see where that goes, or doesn't go. Only time will tell. But I love Fred showing her capabilities of just standing up for what's right, being a leader. We saw a lot of that at the end of the last season as well, when she had to go off on her own for a bit and work out how to let everyone see the light about how Jasmine really was. So I loved everything with that. Looking forward to seeing again how all these different branches are going to kind of come together as they run the firm as a whole. So that was very interesting as well. And then I guess Angel himself taking no bullshit, as it would seem. You know, Cordelia's in a coma. He doesn't need to kind of impress her right now. Connor doesn't remember him. He doesn't need to try and be the best role model he can possibly be for his son and try and make amends for that and not be seen as a monster to his son after everything, because it doesn't matter now. So he can just go to town. And I like the idea of him, again, trying to find this balance as to how to run this firm, not into the ground, because if they lose it then they can't do any good, but also, you know, they want to be able to make a difference in the city while still having to maintain them being Wolfram and Hart, because they are part of this larger corporation. They can't just, you know, up and do their own thing. So it feels very true, I think, with like the last episode where they were being shown around the place, and it made it seem like, oh, look at all this power we're giving you, look at all this influence you're going to have. And then this episode kind of peeled away a lot of that, and it's like, well, you're not really as in control as, you know, we made you think you were going to be. I think he's going to work up to a place where he can have a bit more control, but it's kind of the classic Wolfram and Hart kind of trick, I think. Everything is going to have a catch, and there seem to be plenty of them, and Angel's going to have to negotiate that. I mean, he doesn't have to deal with like the SWAT team jerks anymore, so that's good, because he seemingly killed them all. Well, apart from one, he showed a bit of mercy. That was nice. But yeah, he took out like Chris Redfield, because I can't remember the character's name, so I'm just going to call him Chris Redfield, like the leader of the SWAT team guys. Took all them out, and just seeing all these other people still kind of going behind their backs. I think there is lots of potential here for people to be stabbed in the back, both by clients and other people who work at Wolfram and Hart may still be loyal to how things used to be, personal grudges and stuff like that. So I like that everyone still has to be kept on their toes, even if it seems a bit more like they have a bit more of a say and a bit more power to run the firm. Considering what firm it is, you kind of still need to not trust everyone and keep on your toes. I really like that kind of tension that can just keep going throughout the season then. So yeah, I really love this setup for the season. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with it. and how it's going to last for the entire season, I would assume, maybe beyond. I don't know how it's going to end or how the comics continue it. If there are comics, I'm pretty sure there are, but still. And then we have Eve, who, my god, they really focus on Eve this episode. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot to her to unpack, and she's going to be a big, player in things to come. Because she was just popping up all over the place, and then she's like the contact, I think, between like Angel and the Branch and the firm as a whole, I guess. Could you have just kept Lila on in that role if, you can't undo her contract or anything? But fine. I don't know if Lila's just gone. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more to her. The fact that they've called her Eve, I know that's getting very meta, but shows like this can't resist calling characters Eve and give them dark secrets and stuff, because of the whole Adam and Eve connection and poison fruit, all that stuff. So there must be something to her. And yeah, this episode really felt like it was forcing her on not only the team themselves, but us as well. So there's going to be importance to her. I don't trust her as far as I could throw her. I couldn't throw her very far anyway, because, weak. But yeah, I'm intrigued by her. Don't trust her. I think she has lots of motivations. I don't know what they would be. Couldn't even predict it. Maybe she's the nicest person in the world. She didn't seem like it. And she was all about making a big impression. Maybe not necessarily a good one, but an impression nonetheless. So the impression I get is that she's shady and we shouldn't trust her. So we'll see where that goes. But she still remembers Connor. She knows all that kind of stuff. So she clearly has some big influence in Wolfram and Hart as a whole. And I imagine we're going to delve into her quite a bit more as the season progresses. So an interesting kind of first glimpse into what Eve's going to be about. Not quite sure what yet and what to make of her yet, so we'll see when they dive a bit more into it. So there was her, and I guess the only other thing is that ending with Spike. Holy shit. Again, I am kind of nervous, like, they need to make it worth it, bringing him back immediately after they just killed him in Buffy. I'm sure they've got an interesting story planned. I mean, it's hard to not make Spike watchable, I guess, for the most part. Obviously, we've been there, we've done that, we've moved on. So yeah, this could be something. It always makes me sad that, like, well, we're not going to see that many other characters from Buffy, because, like, what's Buffy's reaction going to be when she's like, oh, Spike's still alive, what's that going to be all about? But I don't think that can be something that they explore, because I imagine, like, all the other major Buffy characters aren't going to be showing up because their show's done. But then again, I wouldn't have expected Spike to show up because I thought he was dead, but he's not. So I'm assuming he's going to be a big part as well. I'm actually very excited for Angel and Spike to interact a lot more, because I always found that very, very fun. They felt like, I don't know, like a big and little brother, I guess. I think it's up to you to decide who's the big brother, who's the little brother. I always imagine Spike as the little brother. But that kind of bickering and jealousy between them, even when they're not on screen together, they're just like talking about each other. There's always been a lot of disdain there. So I think that's potential for a lot of drama and a lot of comedy. So that could be quite fun to see that. And obviously we have had Spike on the show before. He was in season 1, wasn't he? Way back when. So it's kind of cool that we have that, him showing up again in the final season when he was one of the first big Buffy characters to be in the first season, so that's quite fun. And how the first season of Angel ended with us bringing a blonde vampire who we thought was dead back to life, and they've kicked off their final season doing the same thing, just a different blonde vampire who we thought was dead coming back to life. So that's fun, and I'm enjoying the possibilities of what Spike can do. Like, imagining Spike like working at Wolfram and Hart or something is hilarious to me, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for Spike, because he's a very watchable character, I think. And the fact that I thought we weren't going to get any more of him, but now we seemingly are, and exactly what the deal is with him coming back and what that's going to be about. Like, why is there a purpose for that? What does it all mean? Does he still have a soul? Is he soulless again now? I guess that's something to find out. I'm looking forward to seeing explored. So that's quite the exciting addition. I guess in a way they can Spike can almost fill a void that Cordelia may have left if we had like our Cordelia still around just to make, you know, snappy comments and stuff like that. So we'll see, but that's very, very exciting that Spike is around, and I'm looking forward to seeing what his interaction is going to be like with the whole of Team Angel, the Wolfram and Hart situation, exactly what story they have in mind for him. I couldn't even begin to imagine what story they could do, and how he's going to get involved in things, who he's going to get along with, who he's not. So that's interesting. But since I've always enjoyed the Angel and Spike dynamic so much, I think that's going to be a really fun thing to explore. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And this episode was called Conviction. And I like the double meaning with all of that. Well, there's probably multiple meanings to it, but like the actual like literal conviction that someone would have gotten in court and stuff, versus the conviction like everyone's kind of needing to get involved with, and you know what they need to commit to and what they are capable of doing to get what they want out of running Wolfram and Hart, this branch of it. Angel's conviction in showing mercy / no mercy when he needs to. Fred kind of snapping and trying to get everyone to work on the virus. Whenever I'm watching something now, it's always about bloody viruses and shit, isn't it? You just don't notice these things until the global pandemic hits. So of course it had to be all about trying to stop a virus outbreak. But I did enjoy the twist with like the guy had put it in his son. And, like, that was a bit weird, and I'd forgotten about the focus on those kids at the start of the episode after the credits. So when we then revisited that, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I love a good episode title. I'm all about episode titles. I don't talk about them that much in these reactions and stuff because, you know, I don't like getting them until after I've seen the episode, so I got it now. So yeah, I like the kind of multiple meanings you can read from that one in particular. So yeah, overall, a really, really great start to this season. I love the Wolfram and Hart concept so much. I love the idea of Spike being back. I love the idea of Harmony being around as well. I like everyone seems to have like a proper role to play in this order. I think the gun stuff is very interesting as well. I'm, you know, apprehensive about what it may mean for what the character has stood for in the past. Don't know, is it going to be too drastic of a change? Is he still going to feel like Gunn, the heart of Gunn as a character? Hopefully. But for now, I think it's a really cool idea. Looking forward to seeing where they go with that. And what, you know, the big conflict of the season is going to be. No idea. And that's very, very exciting. So yeah, we're into the final season now. 21 episodes left. Anything can happen. I'm excited to see what season 5 has in store, but if there's anything like this first one, I think we're into a really interesting, fun season. So I'm excited for more, and yeah, I'm hopeful that you guys are excited for my reactions to this final season as well. I don't think I've posted the video yet about my new watch order, but in case you weren't already aware, I did mention it maybe in my reviews, if not the reactions to the last season, can't remember, I'm saying it now anyway. Obviously in my original like reaction cycle we did 3 Buffyverse and then 2 other shows. We're going down to 2 Buffyverse slots in my main cycle, so it's just going to be like 2 Angels in a row, and then we'll keep cycling back through that, because then we can end Angel on a nice even thing and get the 2 episodes done fairly close together, as opposed to maybe having to wait an extra bit to get around to another cycle just because there's like 1 episode left or something, because I watch odd number of episodes at a time. That's no longer going to be the case. So yes, that's how it's going to be working. So it's going to be around 2 episodes of Angel in a row coming out reaction wise in every cycle. So yeah, we are fully on board with the last season. Really enjoyed this episode. I think it's a great start and I am very excited for more. But until my next reaction, thanks for watching.